Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bit War Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Bates. Joined with me, as always, co-hosts Zach Goins
How's it going, boys and girls?
and Andrew the Wink Winkleman.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, so this week we're going to change the formula up a little bit. We're going to start adding esports into our weekly talks, just because it's kind of what we're getting involved in as Bit War Gaming. And it's kind of taken off in the country because it has its own dedicated show on TBS now in the league, E-League. So we're going to talk about that. And Shaq is a freaking co-owner of a team. So
Yeah.
it's
And Rick Fox.
yeah. So it's some crazy stuff. It's really taken off. So we're going to add that to our conversations. To get us started, though, we're going to go over some news. So why don't we jump into that? Really, the only thing game worthy is some comments made about the Project Scorpio and the PlayStation 4K. Take-Two, they came out and made some statements about how they like the hardware. They don't think it'll make games any more expensive, but it definitely gives them a lot more tools to work with to make games look a lot better, be more expansive. Is this what you guys kind of predicted, what you thought was going to happen, or do you guys expect game prices to go up?
I would be shocked if they decided to raise game prices. That would I think there would be quite a backlash if they made $60 games, $70 games, or whatever.
Yeah. Zach?
No, I think it's the same thing. With how much they've been listening to, like the players recently, I feel like the video game industry as a whole has been listening to the players a lot more recently. And I think one of the biggest gripes is, why are all the games so expensive? And we've done a couple. I think we did a podcast one time where we talked about like the storytelling and the writing and buying authors and doing all this stuff to write stuff is a lot of money. But I mean, like, Titanfall 1 should not have been $60, especially with it just being a just multiplayer. You know, kind of like Overwatch. I don't think Overwatch should have been as much as it was, just because it's just one thing. So, yeah, I would like them to be a little bit cheaper, but that's just me.
Yeah.
You got to consider microtransactions too, and how much money those bring.
Yeah.
DLC, that brings in a ton of money. It would be extremely greedy if they were to raise prices of games from $60 to $70, $75. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. Well, I remember the days when brand new games were $24.95.
Yeah.
And so it's just
I think
exactly.
I think PlayStation 1 games were $40, weren't they? $39.99.
Yeah, I think you're right. But like back when I first started playing PC games, if I remember correctly, the one Commander Keen game was $19.99. But this game that I used to play online all the time called Interstate 76. If anyone knows what that game is, you're a boss. That's like OG multiplayer with car vigilante stuff. But I'm pretty sure that was $24.95.
Okay, I'm trying to think too. I'm pretty sure PlayStation 1 games are $39.99. Original Xbox games are $49.99.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that came out around because PlayStation 2 games are $49.99. And you consider inflation and stuff like that. I mean, that's $40. 20 years ago was probably $60 now.
Mm-hmm.
For video games, and considered hardware and tech and all that stuff, and how much money goes into it. I think, it feels like we're a couple generations away from another price hike.
Yeah, which
especially when this generation's only 3 years old. Because it's still really early.
I just feel like games any more expensive than $60 a pop, I think you're going to deplete the amount of people that are going to buy them. Because let's say it goes up to $75 a game. That's a lot of money.
That's not a hobby anymore. That's I don't know what you would technically call it. That's more than just a hobby at that point.
Yeah, when you're spending $100. Let's say every 2 months or 3 months a new game's coming out that's buy worthy.
It will make it would be really tough for new studios and new franchises to get off the ground.
Yeah.
For $75. If it were to jump to $70, $75, I could see GameFly becoming a killer service.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, because it's already very lucrative as it is. You know, if you have 3 or 4 games that are single player only that you just want to beat and move on, get 2 months worth of GameFly, and you're saving yourself. You know, you're cutting your price in half, if not more. So, you know, rental services like that, I could see becoming extremely popular.
Yeah, no doubt. And the games that people like, they'll pay the full price for. Or if
Yeah,
they
like,
have
you know, the major AAA titles, they'll still make their, you know, millions of copies. They'll still sell. It's just there will be no middle ground anymore. It'll be tough for new studios to get things. It would have to review well, and word of mouth would have to travel real fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy a new IP that I didn't know anything about.
Right.
You know, even the trailers look great, blah blah. Blah. It'd be really tough pill to swallow for $75.
Yeah, agreed. So hopefully the consoles just are the thing that fluctuate in price, and the games do not. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, as will I. So,
Yeah.
And unless you guys have anything else newsworthy, that's the only thing I could really find that some suits are coming out.
Man, I was trying to think of something, but I really can't. Nothing.
I got 2 little things I can talk about.
All right.
I'm part of the Xbox One preview program, so I rolled out today was the first wave, I believe. So I've been able to use the Cortana stuff.
Yeah. How was that? Give us a rundown.
I gotta actually turn my Xbox off so I don't use any of these commands. Okay, everything is controlled through. You don't say Xbox do such and such anymore. It's hey Cortana, do this. You know, and what I've found is so far is the voice recognition. It will show text of exactly what you said, and so far everything's been pretty close and accurate of everything. The commands have changed a little bit. It wasn't as easy as before to get my Netflix to play a certain program, a certain thing. Like one time I said Xbox play 1, it opened up The Walking Dead season 1. So yeah, that has a little bit of working around, but you can open up a side, like when you snap an app, it will show up on the right side. You can do a full like Siri or Cortana search on the right side of your screen now. Like I asked, I said, "Hey Cortana, what's the weather out? What's the temperature?" And it showed me the current temperature for where I was and the 5-day forecast. It was kind of cool.
Nice.
So the one thing that sucks about this preview program is when it updates for me, some of the apps aren't optimized for it yet because there's no update for those apps because it's it's obviously early betas and stuff like that. So some apps might not work correctly. Or one night when I was playing Halo with you guys, all of a sudden at 10:30 at night, my Xbox updated itself in the middle of playing Halo. So that was a bummer. But everything, like the screens and everything, looks pretty similar so far. I haven't noticed any changes in the buttons, but the new Cortana stuff is a huge change with that. And then I got an Xbox Elite controller, and you tested that out for this weekend. So far, it's been a wise purchase. Having the paddle extremely useful. I can think of at least 3 or 4 times where it saved my butt playing Trials of Osiris this weekend. I mapped out one of the paddles as a revive button, so I was able to keep shooting and aiming while reviving a teammate, which you could.
Good idea.
And you can just tell it feels a lot more solid and well built. While the original controllers are a little lighter and a little bit more plastic. This one just. You can tell it feels like it's sturdier. I'm really liking it so far.
Cool. I've heard nothing but good things about the Elite controller.
Yeah, it's for a $150 controller. You would never you always just immediately assume, well, that's way overpriced. I would never. That's such a luxury item. Blah blah blah. And after using it, you wonder, man, okay, maybe this was well worth it. I should have bought one a long time ago. Like once you figure out the paddles and get used to it, the locations and everything. If you're a shooter, it's extremely useful. The hair trigger, all that stuff. You can map out buttons. There's the layouts you can select. You can change the sensitivity of the rumbles inside of it, and it's really nice. There's a whole dedicated app inside the Xbox's itself to help you lay everything out. It's really nice.
Awesome.
So if you have an extra $100 laying around, go find one on eBay, a used one that's new, that's somewhat new, and it's worth $100.
Awesome.
I mean, while we're talking about hardware that might have just recently gotten, I can talk about these headphones that I purchased recently. I mean, why not? Hey, we just talked about his Xbox controller. So I have, I had Turtle Beaches before, but I wanted something a little bit better, especially for podcasting, and then also with like just us getting into esports a little bit more, which we're going to talk about in a second. But I bought the SteelSeries Siberia 200s, and it was they're like the successor to the top selling headset of all time, like for PC gamers. And so I was like, oh sweet, like let me try it on my Xbox, and I've loved it so far. I think I did some. What was that?
How much did you pay for it? Just out of curiosity.
I paid something different because I get a discount through my work, but they're $79 overall. But right now they're on sale for $59. So I mean that's a deal. If you needed like a nice pair of headphones, like these are really nice. I mean,
They come in.
I really enjoy them.
Yeah,
you can get them in different colors. Yeah, you can get them in like I think like black, red, yellow, green. I have the green ones, orange. Like there's a ton of different colors. I would recommend these in a second. Like I really have enjoyed them.
Nice. If I would love an over-ear headset for myself, but I had the Microsoft brand, the Xbox brand ones, and I used that to play Alien Isolation because it had stereo surround in it. Of course, it made me crap my pants a few times, but like after like a half hour or so, like my head and my ears get really hot, so it gets uncomfortable after long periods of time. So there's no point in buying a nice game headset if I can't wear it more than a half hour.
Well, the new Turtle Beach ones, the $300 new tournament ready headset, those have active cooling in them. They have like little air vents.
But I have a hard time justifying paying $300 for a headset.
Yeah,
nah, just do it.
I had the same. Yeah, you're still single. I had the same problem. Like I had the same problem with a couple other ones. Like my head's kind of big, so I didn't like the Turtle Beaches because they didn't go all the way around. But this band that's on top like has stretched out a lot to go around my head, and then these are super soft on my ears. So I mean, I would even go to like I know they have them at Best Buy, so I'd even go to Best Buy and buy them, and then if you don't like them, just return them. Like, what are they gonna say? What
I wish I could find is how the Beats have studios and then Beats solos. You know, the on-ear cups instead of the over-ear ones.
Mm-hmm.
If I could find something similar to that, I would probably consider it like a gaming headset.
Well, if you got, because I know they have cell phone headsets that do that, where they have like the around the ear. Like I don't remember what the technical term for that is, but anything. Yeah, anything that uses a 3.5 millimeter 4-pole connector will work with the stereo adapter or the built-in plug.
The new controllers have the 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah,
built into it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I don't know if I'd have to look at my Elite controller if that would have that or not.
It should.
That I don't know. I would assume it would, but I don't know for sure.
I'm assuming. I think the Elite controller. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But I mean. For me, like these headphones are great because I can literally hear everything. Like when we're playing Halo, I can hear people running around, and I can hear like in Overwatch, I can hear footsteps. And like one of the biggest things about playing those kinds of games is like listening. Is being able to like hear what's going on.
And I got a pair of Turtle Beaches for Christmas a few years ago because Best Buy for Black Friday had a deal on these black and green ones.
Yeah.
At least 4 other people of our friends got them too. They're like $20 on Black Friday, and they were cool to use. They hooked up right through your audio, so there was more cords, but it was cool playing like Call of Duty and stuff. And the sound quality was just completely different from what I was used to.
Yeah, well,
I had a pair of those one time.
We're talking about headphones. I have like Logitech headphones for my computer, and so the last pair of computer headphones that I had headset was Logitech, and it ended up breaking. Part of the wireless receiver it stopped working, so it wouldn't transmit, and it would keep trying to reconnect. And so I'd get audio for 5 seconds. It would go out, pop, and then come back in, and it was really annoying. So when I sent those in for repair, they said that they unfortunately didn't make parts for it anymore, and they upgraded me to what these are, which these are called the Artemis Spectrum G633s. So it's kind of awesome because they glow, they change color. They have like all the
Huh.
LCD,
Mhm.
and it has 2 cords. So you plug it into your computer, and it gives you the computer audio. And it has a 3.5 millimeter cord you plug into your controller, and you can hear both at the same time.
Okay. I
Um,
think that's the way my last headset was. Is you get both audio directly in, and does it have a little remote where you can adjust the volume of each one to
Um,
the right,
well, what it
heck,
does is
volume.
it gives you, when you have it on a PC setting, you can change what volume, like in the Logitech software, you can change it. But standard, it gives you 60% computer, 40% the controller, the 3.5 millimeter, and you can change that. But it seems to be pretty good for me because I can turn the volume up and down on the controller, the stereo
Yeah.
adapter. Works out pretty good. So I've been loving these. I don't know, what the retail price is because they just gave them to me for free.
Oh, nice.
The Artemis Spectrum G633,
Yes.
$150.
So
Nice.
score
Pretty good.
Logitech. They definitely
Yeah.
earned a repeat customer from me because of that.
Yeah,
So
that's good customer service right there.
yeah, they're just like, well, we don't have the parts to fix it, so we're gonna give you this one. I was like, awesome.
That's how you should do it.
Yeah.
And
That's yeah.
some companies won't do that and
Yeah.
screw the customer. And then there's
That's
really nothing
awesome.
you can do as a customer if they don't do something, do something like that.
Yeah, and I would have
If
purchased.
you don't want your money back, you want your headset.
Yeah, I mean, and legitimately, if they would have just said, "Hey, we don't have the parts to fix it. We're sorry," even if they would have said, "We'll give you 5% off," I would have still bought Logitech, headset. But they were like, "Hey, we'll just upgrade you to this for free." I was like, "Awesome."
Yeah.
So, yeah,
There you go.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so let's move into our esports because I don't think we have any Winx trivia yet. We're still working on that wording, Wink.
No, I have one.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Here we
You
go.
want-
Winx trivia. Let's hear
Okay.
it.
Wow.
All right. What TV star is the character model for a prominent PlayStation 3 video game? That's all I'm going to say because if I go any deeper than that or more detail, I think it would be too easy to guess. As of right now, it's not too bad.
Okay.
As a repeat, I'll repeat it one more time. What TV star is the character model for a prominent PlayStation 3 game?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Winx trivia finally back.
It's back and better than ever.
Yep. And so, like always, you can tweet us hashtag Winx trivia or at Bitwar Gaming. Just tag us in it in your response. First come, first serve. So first winner, first person to get the answer right gets the prize, and that is a $10 gift card to the gaming store of your choice.
Steam sale going on right now.
Steam
so
sale is going on, and they have some
What?
crazy deals, crazy good deals on stuff.
Oh no.
I think
I need to I'm not even gonna look at it.
this War
I'm
of
gonna look
Mine,
at it.
the game that I've been talking about forever, it's $2
Yeah.
on Steam
Oh,
sale.
nice.
Yeah, so $10 can go a long way in the Steam sale.
That it can.
So yeah, hit us up on that for sure. As BWG, I checked earlier and there was no questions for us on Twitter, so we'll skip through that. So into our esports report. Just give you guys a little update. In the Halo Championship Series, the Open Circuit, this coming weekend is the last Open Circuit, and they take the top teams to play against the bottom Pro League teams to see if they can get in. So, given our history, I don't think we're going to make it, but we are going to give it the best go that we can, because I think, honestly, we have the raw potential in the 4 people we have. We just don't get enough practice time like these teams that are running the show do.
Yeah.
I really think that they practice 8-10 hours a day with each other. It's not just solo. It's not just solo practice. It's team practice on top of it, where we don't get to do that. And we're 3 different time zones too, so it makes it even harder to schedule practice.
Yeah.
So I really do think we can go far if we continue to set stricter guidelines for our practice times. But we'll see. We'll see. This weekend's the last one, and hopefully we can make it deep into the bracket.
Well, and I was thinking about that too the other day. Is while I was reading up, so I'll dive into some of this E-League stuff. So the E-League website, www.e-league.com. I just wanted to see some of the teams. I've done some research. I know a little bit about some of the teams that are playing, and I just kind of used our team as a baseline. So, like, Brett, you have a wife, a dog, full-time job. All right, there we go.
A dog.
Austin has a full-time job.
Two part-time, I think.
Yeah, 2 part-time jobs. He's going for seminary. He's a busy dude. Travis is no offense to him, but he's probably the least busiest out of all you guys. He's got a full-time job too, but he's got some extra time. And then Ian travels like crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like looking through these teams, and you're right. Like all these guys just sit in a house together and play video games all day. I think the Renegades were the only team that were like, it says, a true blue-collar team from Australia, the Renegades are a team with members who formerly held jobs as plumbers, carpenters, and laborers during the week before flying around the world on the weekends to partake in their passion for competitive gaming. We have part of that. We just don't have the funds to fly around the world and, like, looking at this, it's definitely possible. It's possible that we could do it. It's just, it's a little bit stacked up against us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think it's something we can't do. We have a lot of people who want to dedicate time to do it and who find it fun. So
yeah, the thing
that's all that matters.
The thing is getting focused practice. The little practice time we get, it has to be really focused.
Yeah.
And we have that sometimes, but other times we don't. And it's really going to take a lot of individual and team discipline, I think, to get that level of practice in with those few hours we have together. So
yeah, totally. There's a lot of teams in this. It's crazy.
The E-League, they got, I think it's 4 groups, 4 groups of 4 teams, I think.
4 groups of 6 teams.
4 groups of 6 teams. Yeah. So.
Well, that's what it looks like on this.
Yeah, 4 groups of 4. I thought.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I thought there was
6 groups of 4.
6 groups of 4. Okay. So I know they do.
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, I know they do.
Never mind.
Round robin stuff. So each team plays every other team once or twice in the season. But the thing I wanted to point out, the big thing about this E-League is that it is aired on TBS, major TV network.
Yeah.
And they made some professional-looking commercials, hilariously, with Shaq in them, because he has part ownership in one of these Counter-Strike Go teams.
Dang.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome that a basketball player, arguably one of the best big men that ever were in the NBA, really invested into esports. And I think that's cool.
I mean, Rick Fox. You can also mention Rick Fox.
Mm-hmm.
He has a team in the CS:GO league right now, and I mean they're 2-6 overall. Echo Fox, but that it shows that every time I can easily remember anytime I was younger and I got made fun of for playing video games. I look back on that and I'm like, I'm happy I stuck around. Like I enjoy myself. I have good it's good hangout time. Sometimes this is the only time I get to talk to my bros at night is just jumping on Xbox and playing games. But for it to grow as fast as it has, I think we joined esports with the mantra of, hey, we really want to have fun and we want to be good at this game. Since 1 year ago when we started all of this, it has grown substantially in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what blows my mind. The TBS thing wasn't a year ago. The TBS thing was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's just oh man, it's just so crazy.
Yeah, and
just so crazy.
For the E-League, the prize pool, I think it's the top 8 teams. They're fighting for a chunk of $1.4 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's serious cash. It really helps legitimize the sport or esports in general. But I don't think until we get team owners and team contracts.
Yeah.
like football, basketball, hockey have. I don't know the longevity of it because of what we call, and Austin, our Halo captain, turned me on to this term, roster mania. I think that's what Twitter calls it too. Um, as soon as the first world championship was done in the Halo Championship Series, roster changes happened like crazy. People were cutting other people. People were quitting. People were just talking crap about their teammates and how they're bad. And there were just huge roster shifts. And that's something that you don't get with hockey, football, basketball. Because you're under contract, you have to play for X amount of years to get money.
Yeah.
And I think until we get to a point like that, and I don't really know how that's going to work out because there aren't like home fields. There aren't arenas where these teams come to play in a regular season. It's all done, for the most part, it's done online. Now, what this TBS show has done is get them all together in an arena to do that, but there still isn't like each team has their own arena where another team flies in to play at. So there aren't ticket sales, there aren't concession sales, there aren't there isn't a whole lot of that is a huge revenue maker for NBA teams, NHL teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how any of that folds out.
I mean, these guys gotta have to sign something, because I know Shaq wouldn't just sponsor a team just to donate the money. He would do it because he's a business guy now. He wants to get some return on an investment, because that's the same guy that owns like 30 Starbucks, a bunch of, I think he bought
Subways,
stuff like that. So there has to be something in place for return on investment for these big name guys to sponsor these teams.
Yeah, well, and that's where kind of like how we have set in place where our players get a percentage and we would get a percentage of the winnings. I imagine it would be something like that. But as far as I know, there is no player contract like, hey, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars per season, and you're locked in for 4 seasons, 6 seasons.
What about their other sponsors? These guys have sponsors from products and stuff too, right?
Right. Yeah, and that is, to my knowledge, that's the only consistent income that any of these teams have are the like Monster, Steel Series, Twitch, all these different sponsors. As to my knowledge, it's the only constant income they have. So I don't know how. Like I said, the ticket sales. I don't know who that goes to. Like I imagine that goes to TBS, because they're hosting the thing. They set up the arena and.
Yeah, the TBS gets all the TV revenue, all the advertising and stuff like that, and then how it trickles down to the players is the prize pool.
Yeah.
Money. I'm like, if these teams are sponsored by companies and other than just Shaq and stuff, and they sign something, I would assume there's got to be an exclusive clause or not compete, stuff like that, saying you got to play in such and such tournaments, or because that's a good way to get sued.
Well, see, that's what I would think too, how it would go down. But because of in Halo specifically, all the roster changes that happen so often, it seems like there's nothing to tie them to a team. I don't know if it can be set up that way, and so that's kind of.
Like maybe it'd all be trickled through the captain or something like that,
or it's all like, hey, what you get paid is based on your performance and how far you go. Maybe there's something. It's like 100% commission based, like car salesman type thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like if you look at regular sports, and I think that's what that's what this podcast is focusing around, like the sports world to the esports world. If you look at basketball teams, for instance, like if you make the playoffs, or like football, I think it's football. If you make the playoffs, you do get a little bit more money, right? Like there's a little
All-Star game for football.
Yeah. So I think that, like, if they start doing that, like, hey, like you said, like, hey, if you're going to be on with us for 4 seasons, you'll get paid this much. After the 4 seasons, you're a free agent. Like, once they start doing something like that, where like the NBA and the NHL and the NFL have like a free agent period, or even like a contract signing, like Wink was saying, I think that's where it's going to actually blow up. And then how you mentioned, like home field advantage kind of. Like I'm sure there are colleges around the states or even like just auditoriums that are big enough to hold 500 people. Start out with. You can cram 500 people really quick to watch an esports game.
Yeah, well, I know a couple colleges that do have like little miniature esports arenas that have been kind of makeshifted into like a broadcasting arena, but that's for
you're not going to fill a
though.
stadium. Yeah, you're not going to fill a stadium like they do for like the League final or CS:GO final or the Halo World Championship kind of a thing. They're not going to do that. I think what they need to do is find an open space, and how they do it for the Halo Championship series. Like they have, 2 sections for the teams, and then they have the middle spot is for the announcers, and the people sit right in front. Like I think there's only like 200 people who go to those things, but they're willing to pay. No, but I mean like for the not the finals or anything like that.
Oh,
but
well,
like the qualifiers.
These TBS matches, there's people there. I mean, I don't know if you've watched any of it online, but when they pan to the audience, I mean, it looks like maybe 1,000, 2,000 people there.
That might be because it's a TV played thing, though. Like if it was maybe just a regional event, you have to wonder. They wouldn't make much, if at all, from that. I mean, if for it to trickle down to the players, you have to make lots of money off of advertising and, media taking over, whether it be an online presence or a TV presence like TBS. That's where the real money becomes involved, because if this TBS thing takes off and it becomes a yearly series, and it grows, that advertising money is going to trickle down to the players, because the biggest spenders, and when it comes to advertising, is going to want the best teams. Thus, they're going to be the best players more to come play for them, and so on and so forth. So, it's all the groundworks, and it reminds me a lot of World Series of Poker and how that became so big so fast with the TV and ESPN showing it.
Yeah,
and then you start seeing, the online poker start giving away seats to those things, and that just made the biggest events even bigger. And then you started seeing players wearing their sponsors all over their shirts, full tilt, all that stuff. I mean, the esports stuff is kind of in the premature version of that as of now. If the TV's ratings stay consistent or get bigger, that'll eventually trickle down to the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see that happening. I don't know how fast, but I do. I think they have a couple of little kinks to work out, like with this whole: are we going to contract players? Are we going to allow them to free float whenever they want? As soon as I get that nailed down, and then sponsors are really taking investment in the people that they draft or they contract in to play these games, I think we'll see it really start to take off.
Yeah, it took. I think the poker boom it grew exponentially in just 2 years. So. Even that first year, you saw a huge jump. So if this TBS stuff shows, it gets a lot of views, it could take off quickly.
Yeah.
Even if we
to watch, I'll watch, players play, good players play online quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever considered watching it on a TBS kind of thing. I just feel like popping on Twitch and watching these guys make me feel really crappy about myself. So
I think if also I lost my point. Never mind. It's gone.
Yeah, but the 2 teams that I wanted to mention in the E-League, Fnatic, they are probably one of the OGs of the Counter-Strike Go competitive scene. And I think they were doing pretty decent. I don't have the website up in front of me right now, but I thought they were doing pretty good.
For CS:GO?
Yeah.
Fnatic's in first.
Are they in first?
Okay. Fnatic's in first.
Yeah, they're in the first group.
I know that Cloud9 for a long time were top gunner in CS:GO, but I don't think they're doing that good anymore. I think Luminosity is kind of taking that second place.
They're in the same bracket, the same group, and Luminosity's first and Cloud9's second in that group.
So what I think is so awesome about Counter-Strike Go is they have a map veto system, So as teams scout one another and know the other player's strengths and weaknesses, they can veto and say, we're not going to play this map because we know that they are awesome at it. And then the opposite team can do the same thing. They say, we know that their best match is this one, so we're going to knock out that map.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really awesome that they could do that. And then, so what happens with Counter-Strike Go, if anyone doesn't know, there's 30 rounds. So each team takes 15 rounds, and one is the planting team and one's the counter team. So each one has they go 15 rounds straight. So for the first 15 rounds, Team A is trying to plant the bomb at site A or B, and then the second team is trying to stop them from planting and blowing up the site. So it's a terrorist and counter terrorists. And then after 15 rounds, there's like a little halftime, and they switch. So they do the opposite role because for the most part, being counter terrorist is a lot harder than being terrorist and planting the bomb. For whatever reason. Oh, I'm sorry, it's opposite. It's a lot harder to plant the bomb and blow up the site than it is to defend it. So to give
is it elimination style to where they die the round, they're done for that round?
Yes.
Yep, it's like search and destroy.
Yep, if you kill all 5 teammates, you win the round regardless. Unless the bomb's planted, then you have to go find it and disarm it before it blows up within time.
Is there more than one location to plant?
There's 2, A and B for each map.
Okay.
So the first team to win 16 rounds, they win. But there's a lot of times, and I remember I think week 1 or 2 it was in E-League, there was because it's an even number, right? It's not an odd number of games, so you can tie, and that's what they want. They want this high energy kind of clutch plays during these overtime matches. And so instead of going around 30, I think they ended it around like 48 or 49, just going back and forth. One team winning.
If it's tied at 15-15, how does a match end? You have to win 2 in a row.
Yeah, at that point, it's kind of like tennis, where you can't just win at one more. It has to be 2 more.
Okay.
But it was crazy, and I really enjoy the high intensity matches like that. But it's not consistent, and so I think that is kind of what makes it harder to watch. Is it's not high energy all the time in these games, especially when you have 30 rounds.
Search and Destroy is kind of a slow game type as it is.
Yeah,
there can be high tension, but it can be slow when you one team defending and one trying to plant a bomb or whatever.
Yeah.
Now with Counter-Strike, what is it? Is its appeal the reason it stayed around so long? Is it just a perfectly balanced shooter, or what?
So each team starts out the first round. Your team has an economy, so you get so much money for kills, etc. So first round, everyone starts out with the same amount of money, and then the winning team gets more money. The losing team doesn't gain any money. Zach, you're breathing really heavy into your mic, bud.
Sorry, I got my allergies are kicking in.
So anyways, it really is about managing your economy and trying to shut down the other player's economy. Because if you can shut down a team and all they can buy is pistols each round, and you have snipers and machine guns and rifles,
so you don't have a loadout you pick for me.
Right? Oh. You have to purchase everything, and you can purchase Kevlar helmets for more defense, or you can go all guns. You can go full auto, semi-auto. So it really is about managing an economy. So in all the action, it's like a chess match too, because you're thinking, okay, I know that they get this much money for winning, so what do we have to do to still have a chance but spend as less amount of money as possible to win this round? Another thing I think is cool is if, let's say a team they're down like 1-on-3, right? So there's one player and he's got to fight 3, and there's not a lot of time left. There's like 30 seconds left. He can go around and pick guns off of dead bodies and keep them for the next round if he stays alive. So
you could just let the clock run out and hold on to that gun?
Yep. I mean, they'll lose the round, but he'll hold on to the gun. So then he'll have it with full ammo the next round.
Okay, so I can see the strategy. I just without ever playing the game and only watching clips of it, I always just assumed the weapons were just perfectly balanced and the maps and stuff were perfectly balanced, and that's what kept it alive for so long. I didn't realize there was some economy involved with it at all.
The map balance, I think, is an accurate statement because they've had years and years to build these maps to make them really fair.
Yeah.
And there's just like the double jumping. the jump assists that you can do, where you crouch, let someone jump on top of you, and you both jump at the same time, so you can, they'll be hopping with a sniper rifle, looking over ledges, and trying to get headshots. It's pretty crazy. But the team economy is a huge factor that you really have to take into consideration.
Is there? I mean, how recent is the most recent version of Counter-Strike, or DLC? I should ask.
I'd have to look to know. I don't recall.
I mean, you look at the gameplay of it. If I were to pop on Twitch right now, it looks like the game's from like a 2008 PC. It looks pretty stale. Doesn't look like there's a lot of textures and stuff like that. But I mean, you don't need that. You don't need it to look good for it to be a good shooter.
No,
right, and
you don't.
I want to say you're about right. I want to say it is, in the 2005, 6-ish, to 2010 maybe at the latest that it would have come out. But I'd have to look to know for sure. But yeah, it's huge, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down just because it's a cheap game. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription.
Yeah, isn't it free for the entry version of it?
No, it's for this one. It's $20.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, on Steam, it's $20. But because
it's on sale right now too.
Yeah, and you don't need a whole lot of demanding hardware to run it real smooth either.
Yeah, so, it really doesn't look like there's much to it. I mean, it doesn't look like it even has a high frame rate. You just.
Well, some computers, when me and Matt used to play, and now, granted, this was just regular Counter-Strike. It wasn't the Global Offensive version. Some of our PC setups would let us get 200 frames per second.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, not that you can detect that with your eye, but...
now, I'm assuming this is a dumb question, I know it is, but everyone uses mouse and keyboard for this?
Yeah. Just because they have high dots per inch mice, that the laser can pick up just the tiniest bit of movement, and they have mouse pads that assist in that. They're high accuracy mouse pads made out of certain materials. If you try to use a controller, you'll get decimated.
Yeah. Like I've seen that argument all the time with controllers are so much slower than mouse and stuff like that. Like I could see it if someone gets really good with a mouse and how much of an advantage it would be over a controller.
Yeah.
Now, how do they handle? Because first thing I think of on an online, especially with PCs, is cheating. How do they handle online cheating and something like that? Because I know there's aim bots and stuff like that.
Yeah. So with VAX servers, from what I recall, what they do is a file check. Every time you load into a game, they check all the files in the game, and if there is one bit difference from what it should be, you can't join the game. It'll kick you.
Awesome.
So unless they've changed that is, from what I recall, that is exactly what happens. I know some games, if you connected if you connected really fast, it would scan your files while you play, and if it detected a file difference while you played, it would boot you out immediately. So,
gotcha. I've seen clips where people, because the text chat is in the bottom left corner or something like that, and you could see a guy running around with just a pistol, and he wouldn't even look at a dude, and he would shoot, and it would be a headshot every time, and they were immediately, as soon as the first one happened, all the way down the left side of the chat, all the chat text is modder or aimbot F-bombs and stuff like that. That stuff, I mean, it would be funny at first, but it would get old really. It would ruin the fun for me.
Yeah, well, that's why they have advertised non-vax servers to where bring your mods, bring your cheats, and just whatever. It's just a battle royale.
All
so
console gaming I've ever done, I've only come across two modders, two cheaters at one time. Both were Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
Yeah, one was
No
where this guy could
yeah.
fly and it was invincible. So he was just flying to the top of buildings, and then just shooting and sniping everybody. And we would, after a while, we caught on where he was up there, so we'd shoot him, and he would take no damage.
Yeah.
And another time, they changed it to where any care package that would come in was a nuke. So we were doing headquarters one night, and I got a care package first, and it had the nuke logo on it. And I'm I just got a nuke from the care package. Nah, dude, you can't do that. That's not how that works. And then I pop a nuke 30 seconds into a match, and we're just freaking out. That's the only time I've ever really had to worry about, any form of cheating in console.
It's really hard to alter files on a console.
Yeah, it feels like this.
Yeah, so it's you don't see a whole lot of cheating on consoles, but the biggest thing I ran into on Call of Duty was the modded controllers. So you take a semi-auto gun and you just hold the trigger down. It's like brrr, it's
I mean,
full auto and
people would mod
FAL.
advertise they would sell, send them to your controller, and for $30 they'll mod it to its full automatic or whatever.
Yeah, and they put a little button switch in the front, so it's like a standard controller. Then you switch that button over and literally
you turn FAL was one of the, or a sniper.
Well, the FAL had zero recoil. So
Austin Penix made one.
Yeah, so the FAL has zero recoil, so you just run up to someone, and as long as you have center of mass, just hold the trigger down and they're done in like half a second. So, yeah.
Son of a gun.
Yep, good old days, modded controllers. Man. I'm going to try to keep up with the E-League more. I've kind of been slacking since the first 2 weeks, but I'm going to try to keep up with more so I can bring some more news for you guys.
It's something I want to keep up on too. It's awesome. This is really cool.
So the next sport we're going to talk about, or next game in esports we're going to talk about, is obviously Halo, because we kind of have we're invested in that game as Bitwar Gaming. So the big thing that happened this week was the young gun team Enigma 6 took down CLG, who won at X Games and have been undefeated up until this week. Completely undefeated. I think they may have lost one map, but as the best of 5 series goes, undefeated since the World Championship and the X Games. I'm sorry, X Games, Evil Geniuses won the X Games. CLG
I was just about to say that. I'm like, wait a second.
CLG won the World Championship and since then have been undefeated until this week. So Enigma 6, coming to the first week of this series, and they get obliterated. And then the next week, it might have been 2 weeks after, but one of their players in their team said, "We have more talent than CLG does." Right, just calling them out. And these kids are young kids. I think the one kid is like 15, 16. He's young.
Looking into it right now.
Yeah, and so they're just saying we're better than CLG, blah blah. And then they would lose, and like considerable fashion. Like you're getting whooped on. And they came out this week and played CLG, and they 3-1'd them, 3 maps to 1, beat them.
Jeez, oh Pete.
And that is that's something. When we're talking about how consistent and how high caliber CLG has played since the World
16.
Championship. Yeah, 16 years old. And it's crazy because CLG has a lot of, I think they're all veteran players on that team, just like Evil Geniuses, who were top dog for a long time. So it was kind of like unbelievable. It really was like an old school Duke underdog story. Wink will get that reference in a second, I think. But seriously, it was one of the craziest things to watch. Is how the thing is that Enigma 6 is so inconsistent. Usually, it's like 1 or 2 players in their team will show up and do really well, and the other 2 will kind of have to get carried for them to win. But for whatever reason, this last week, all 4 of them showed up and they did work, and they beat CLG. So that was a huge upset for the HCS. Another thing is Optic Gaming and Halo, like you kind of said, Zach. They've been doing really bad in Halo, but they did have a lot of roster changes. But they're one team that I really thought would be top 3, top 4. And I know losing Naded, his gamer tag is Naded. I think his name's Brett actually in real life, but which is
must be bad at Halo.
Yeah, he probably is. He said he was going to take a hiatus, for 1 season, and just kind of, sit back, kind of take a break, get some rest in, just mentally, because it's just mentally draining to do that week after week. So he just wanted to take a little break, and then he was one of their better players, and then there's another player, Flamesword. He decided to become the coach and not play, but be the coach, and they track, power weapon timers, like overshield and invis timers, just kind of organize team chatter, as it kind of get off rails or if someone's getting frustrated, He just kind of monitors that. So he decided to stop playing and become that. And so there was another roster deficit. So they're kind of playing with a fresh team. None of them are bad individually, but together it's just they're not clicking. And then another team NVS. I kind of expected them to be middle of the way. Not really great, not really bad, but they're convincingly in second place, which I'm happy about because I'm kind of a closet. I'm a closet Pistola fan. Which if you ever see a picture of the dude,
I'm looking at him right now.
yeah, Pistola's a crazy dude. He's funny though. He definitely is genuine. His interviews that they do every week with him, they're fantastic. I take a lot of joy in that kid. So I'm a closet NVS fan. So I'm really happy that they're doing.
Who is he? Who does he play on?
Pistola is on Team NVS.
Oh.
So I'm a closet Pistola fan. But yeah, so yeah, HCS is I think it's going pretty good. It definitely is not the level what the E League is. It does get a lot of viewers on Twitch. The HCS the weeks because they do it in 2 days. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to gauge because it's all online at this point. But when they go into the finals, which is going to be, I want to say it was in Las Vegas. I don't remember. On the website they show where it's going to be in July. It's the finals. I hope for a huge turnout there, which, seeing the X Games turnout, which was fairly decent, and the World Championship, which was pretty decent, I'm hoping that this one continues that and even maybe more so to get more people involved in that. And that'll, to me, that's the gauge of if this is going to work or not, is the people that pay money to go to an arena and watch this. Like, sit down in an arena and watch this. Because you see European Counter-Strike Go, I think Sweden or Norway, one of the two, they legit gave out college scholarships, full-ride college scholarships for Counter-Strike players. And so the people in those countries are crazy. They fill up these soccer stadiums, football, whatever. They fill up these stadiums to watch these people play because it's huge over there. And so in my mind, that will be kind of what tells us the future. If there is not a lot of show of people going to these arenas to watch, I don't know how long it'll last. But I think Counter-Strike, because it's TBS thing, I don't think it's going anywhere. But for Halo and console esports, I think this needs to happen. It needs to be huge turnout to secure the future for it.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I got for this week, guys. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
No? All right.
Good.
Sweet. Well, for myself, Zach Goins and Andrew Winkleman, I'm Brett Bates. This has been Bit War Podcast. Have a good week, guys.
Later.
Deuces.